Yes, a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. It's 4th of February 2021, and of course, the month running, going, crawling, moving basically. There's a balance now on the streets. People just say, we move. Basically, 2021 is moving. Are you moving with it? That's the question for today. Are you moving with 2021? Are you progressing in your life? As every day rolls by, are you really taking 2 steps forward every single time? Are you getting something extra? Are you putting something into the ground? Are you putting something into your life? Are you depositing something in somebody else or inside of yourself? How are you moving? Those are questions I'd like you to answer today. My name is Tomi Siojo, and this is the Bumper Breakfast, a typical Thursday morning. Of course, the Wonder Oyibo of MITV is always here with me, looking all fly and sparkly. There's a sparkly feeling. Hi, Tessie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Moreover, she offended me already yesterday, so she would promise everybody now today to buy me breakfast.
I'll buy breakfast.
But I don't want the kind of breakfast that is next door. I want the type that we're going to order on the phone and they're going to deliver.
No. The network is so bad this morning. So we need to just drive next door to get what we want to get. The network is bad. It's bad. It's so bad.
Really?
Yes.
I don't want to eat then. I'll fast. I'll fast. I'll collect my money. Give me my money instead. Really, how are you? Hope you had a lovely night.
Good morning. Yeah. Yeah, I almost slept off though, but my mom woke me and said, Tessie, do you remember you were going to be on Papa this morning? I said, Mama, do you have my timetable? Are you with my timetable? Why are you monitoring me? I'm telling you.
Because last week you slept off.
I slept off last week, actually. I was so tired. Yes, I slept off last week. Because I worked like from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. And I worked again from 5:30 a.m. That was on radio to like 6 a.m.
So she decided, the right thing to have done would be, okay, after 6 a.m., let me just have my bath, let me wear my clothes, and let me take a little bit of a nap.
Nah.
But no, she went straight to bed.
I was so tired.
Well, you know what happened to me last night?
What?
Okay, 2 nights ago, I slept for, say, 3 hours. I slept around 2:30. I woke up at 5:30. That was Tuesday, Wednesday. So all through yesterday, I was like a zombie.
If you don't have
enough sleep.
Yeah.
So I was really tired and I really had a lot to do. But I needed to just put myself out there. So I worked. When it was 9 o'clock, my eyes were shutting on their own. And consistently, I've been sleeping like 5 hours max. My eyes were shutting on their own. And when I was driving home, I was saying, I told Faith, one of our colleagues here, I said, Faith, I am sleepy. So I managed to drive home, parked the car, got up. See, as I was getting down, I was wiping makeup off my face because I knew that if I hit the bed, I wouldn't wash. So I scrubbed my face with wipe until I found nothing. Entered the house, said, good evening, everybody. Went straight to the bedroom, undressed, and I hit the bed. To 6 a.m. this morning. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but you're feeling more better now.
Exactly. So I feel better. So apparently, sometimes it's just necessary for you to just shut.
Down.
I couldn't lift I saw my phone ringing. I couldn't pick it. Yeah. I was that tired. It does happen once in a while. And you definitely have to, do the best that you can. Yeah. But joining us this morning on the Bumper Breakfast is Mr. Akin Fatuke. And Mr. Akin Fatuke, of course, will be taking a look at the papers with us. I sincerely do hope that while we're at it, he's also going to be giving us, some goodies as to what exactly has been happening in Nigeria for the last 1 week since we last saw him. Good morning, Mr. Fatuke. How are you today?
Good morning, Tosin. Good morning, Tessie. Good morning, Nigeria. Today is World Cancer Day, and the awareness for cancer is all over. We must take it a little bit much more serious. We call it proactive medical attention. And it's ravaging the whole world, and Nigeria is taking its fair share. And for those who are cancer patients who are out there, my best wishes, our best wishes, and for quick recovery. Thank you.
Yes, The papers this morning is interesting, I must say. It's World Cancer Day, and everybody is raising awareness about cancer. If anyone had said there was going to be something that would make COVID-19, that would make cancer less popular this year, almost irrelevant, nobody would have believed. It would have been like the biggest issue people were dealing with was cancer until COVID-19 came knocking. I hope we're not going to have a World COVID Day. I really like us to just put that name behind us and say it's just gone and gone. But World Cancer Day, COVID-19 raising cancer deaths, say WHO specialists. That's the banner headline of the Guardian newspaper today. Thus, the World Health Organization decries rising cancer cases in Africa from 338,000 in 2002 to 846,000 in 2020. Patients with cancer face reduced access to care, competition for scarce resources. Breast cancer costs about 18 million naira out of pocket for initial treatment. About 200 Nigerians die every day from cancer, with 32 from breast cancer, 28 from cervical cancer, 16 from prostate cancer, and 14 from liver cancer. All right, that's a really scary analysis. Federal government showcase 20 private varsities, releases 34 billion naira for 377 rural roads. Telcos lose 3.3 million lines to SIM directive. Subscriptions dip. Suspense as presidency remains mum on IGP. Why sacked service chiefs failed to end insurgency. By Wike, Reps panel alleges theft of $20 billion crude oil in 7 years. And the editorial of the Guardian newspaper, Federalism is the answer after all. That's the 15th article that will be written on that topic.
Right, on the Nation newspaper. We have Nigeria, can Islamic Council to DSS go after killers' orders? Secret police raise their alarm on plans to cause ethno-religious violence. Terrorist bandits, kidnappers, and other criminals are not invisible. Things are becoming increasingly complicated. Daily criminals are operating as if our security agencies are on holiday. Caretaker leadership at APC abnormal, says Akonde. Ex-interim chair membership registration wasteful. Party we hold Akonde Tinubu in high esteem. No plan to field Jonathan in 2023, says ruling party. Cancer cases double in 20 years, says World Health Organization. Gunmen kill policemen, kidnaps 3 Chinas. Nigerian stock lost 216 billion naira in 3 days. EFCC quizzes ex-governor Yari for attempting to move 300 billion naira. Abductors kills U.S. returnee after ransom. Protesters block highway. Mayhem at Kwara APC meeting. Registration begins in Ilorin. Governor seeks AK-47 rifle licensing for Nigerians. Gunmen snatch 20 million naira, Ekiti government cash. Those are the pages that make the front page of the Nation. Those are the stories that make the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, so take a look at the Punch newspaper, running through the stories. Interesting picture on the front page of the Nation. You have the picture story. If I put that up right there, you take a look at it, and a little bit of that picture showing Sheikh Gumi visits Zamfara bandits in forests. Like, my eyes are really open. Appeals for peace. The Sheikh, you want to take that again? You could show them that again. My director could just put that picture up, zoom in a little bit on the picture. That's Sheikh Gumi visiting the bandits in the forest.
So they know where the bandits are. Okay, sorry. I think I jumped because I couldn't hold that. I couldn't hold it in. Oh.
Really? Wow. Tessie. They visited them in the forest.
They visited them in the forest?
Apparently. So, Afenifere Pandef tackled NEF over alleged Northerners killings. Some excerpts there. This morning we'll take a look at that while we're analyzing some of the stories. But this thing that I'm looking at, this one, as in this picture, is troubling. EFCC grills ex-Governor Yari over alleged illegal transactions. Suspected herdsmen kill OPC members searching for Ondo abducted farmer. And federal government approves Jim Ovia, Abacha 18 private varsities. One fed dead as hoodlums attack policemen in Lagos. Laborers abduct Chinese expatriates, kill police aide in Oshun. Reps query 5 billion naira import duty waiver to Chinese firm. Khan wants DSS as agency restates plot on ethno-religious crisis. APC dismisses alleged plan to fill Jonathan in 2023. Oil price nears $59 OPEC plus optimistic about recovery. Federal government World Bank begin the process to rebase Nigeria's GDP. Interesting stories I had today on the Punch.
Nigerian Tribune, no ethnic group should lord it over the other. Blajabiamila, Northern elders overheating the polity, Southern Middle Belt leaders. Buhari should not act as president of Fulani. That is coming from Autumn. Rome women protest against killer herdsmen. Suspected herdsmen kill OPC member abduct farmer in Ondo. I have spoken with Fayemi over Ganduje's model. That's coming from Falana. He battled correctional facility, rejects suspect without COVID-19 test results. FCT Task Force truncate NSITF promotion exam. Violence rocks Kwara APC stakeholders meeting. Kaduna to deliver drugs with drones to over 1,000 health facilities. Kaduna to deliver drugs with drones to over 1,000 health facilities. Local herdsmen hiding identities of criminals, investors. Over 400 million naira investment lost in Igongo. Price of cassava rose from 20,000 to 60,000 naira per ton. Repeated APC membership registration unnecessary. That is coming from Akonde. And on 2023 election, no plan to field Jonathan. APC. FEC approves 20 private universities. Government meets bandits in Zamfara forest. 500 have repented, it says. Crude oil worth $20 billion not accounted for between 2005 and 2012. Coming from reps. That's all. Teresa, over to you.
Oh my. Some interesting stories we do have on the front page of the papers this morning, but let's take a look. I want us to begin from the political angle. This one, Afenifere Pandef tackled NEF over alleged Northerners killings. And we'll have some of the writers there, Mr. Fatuke. We'll have the Northern elders have not shown the kind of responsibility expected of them over the activities of their people in the South. Have their people been killing cows and not human beings? We must see their humanity on the killings in the South by the Kingsman first. That's coming from Afenifere. And Pandef says, when these marauders parading as herdsmen across southern states and the middle belt areas of Nigeria went about killing innocent Nigerians, raping women and destroying farmlands, livelihoods of our people, they didn't make comments and they didn't warn them. Pandef is talking there. And where has it been verified that Northerners have been attacked in the South just like that? Or is it the general insecurity in the country? If there is retaliation, there will be counter-retaliation, which will lead the country to nowhere. That's coming from the Middle Belt Forum. There is the back and forth.
There is,
security in the state.
like we put it, there is anomy in the land, and it starts from the north, south, center, east, and west. Clearly, an indication that security architecture has broken down irretrievably. For me, like President Harry Truman, the former US president, said, the buck stops on the table, and the person that the buck stops knows who he is, and that's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And having said that, I must step back a little bit and throw a bit of a caution. Yes, what you have just read is the duty of the newspapers. State it as it is, but the times we are in now calls for us to be a bit of a restraint. And I am going to be calling on our editors, our newspapers, that while it is agreeable that we must state it as it is, or certain things that make the front page may be worrisome because you will always have views, counters upon counters. Pandef will talk to Afenifere. Afenifere will talk to Northern Elders Forum, and then we just get on being split in the center. I will only just say, please let's call for restraint so that we do not overheat the polity. Now, if Pandef or Afenifere, I'm playing the devil's advocate now, is saying their areas have been invaded. Clearly, it's not happening for the first time. I will talk about the Southwest. I know up till about now, very few leaders of thought, elites, religious, I've always said that Nigeria is a conspiracy between the elites, the religious bigots, and then, of course, the politicians, who call themselves politicians, but I call them politicians. They were virtually not loud enough, one, to give very good governance to their people, two, to speak out when they ought to have spoken out, much more louder than what we are hearing now, until some warlords now arose. That is where people now began to scamper. And the center has maintained a deafening silence, most unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. What is going on in the mind and recess of the presidency as all this goes on? Of course, I mean, for me, as a political analyst, they have always kept quiet when the killings were being done, and it's kind of smells of insensitivity of the highest, that the National Security Advisor has said nothing up till this time. The Mr. President himself has virtually not said anything up to this time. But
new appointments were made.
More appointments.
Isn't that some of the things that should be said?
Oh, well.
And then the resignation of the IG has been required to hand over.
That came too little, perhaps too late, but thank God it eventually came. How effective that is going to serve us is yet to be seen. Point I'm making is that killings have been going on a daily basis. Kidnapping has been going on a daily basis, until people are now rising up to say, hey, no more. We cannot take this anymore. And so, whether it's in Benin, the women coming out, whether it's in Yenagua, the women coming out, and in the Southwest, people are saying, no, it should not continue to happen. The feeling I get is that, with due respect, I think we've been left virtually on our own to fend for ourselves. And in trying to fend for ourselves, we approach what I'll call anarchical state. My prayer, I've spoken about the press, that we need to be a bit careful. My prayer is for additional restraints while seeking for justice. If the police and the other security forces and the DSS are sleeping on their bayonets at this time, they should know, and they must know, that they are calling for a word I do not want to use.
But
You know,
In a word I do not want to use, but I pray it should actually not get there.
Not get
For
there.
the very first
Amen.
time
I
in
say
the
big amen to
history
that.
of our nation, ethnic cleavage and division is so wide. Mr. President has taken 1 or 2 steps in times past as a man of integrity, and suddenly everything just went numb and mum, as if we are talking to, I mean, it's like you're approaching and talking to a deaf and dumb. You use all the sign languages and things are not coming.
Mr. Fatuke,
For
please, I
the
have
sake
something to say.
of the blood that is flowing on a daily basis, we must find a way to sit round the table, religious, ethnic cleavages, the Pandef, the Middle Belts, the Avengers in the South, the Afeniferes, the Northern Elders Forum, to all know that we have just this one nation that we must try to protect. And if we elect that we are going to go our separate ways, like President Jonathan said, it's not really worth, at the end of the day, the blood of any Nigerian. We must all wake up to it. It's a present and imminent danger. Mr. President, we appeal that he has to do more. The Council of States, I hope they are not going to step back and say they've not been invited. I think they should invite themselves to get Mr. President on a round table. And if it is established that there is a hidden agenda, we need to blow that open so that we all know how to begin within the ambit of law to protect ourselves and to protect, our properties, protect our lives, protect our women from being raped, protect our children from being killed like fowls, and protect our institutions. You see what is happening to the institutions in the Southwest. You see the untoward thing that is happening to the institutions in the Southwest. It's a state of confusion. It must stop. And the time to stop it is now.
How do we stop it? That is not my question. Actually, while I was growing up, there was nothing like killings everywhere. I don't know if they have it, but it's not as rampant
Prominent.
as this. You understand? Now, what is the root? We've tagged them as northerners, killers. Why can't the government go back to the roots? Why are they killing people? Are they killing people for fun? If they are killing people for money, when they get the money, they still kill. What is the reason? Why are they killing us? Why is blood everywhere? Blood is everywhere. I just watched a video this morning with you. I saw that video. I couldn't even watch it. And we keep saying northerners, Fulanis. But the video I and you watched, we both know that they are not northerners. And they are not
nothing
Fulanis.
like that.
They sounded more like the Eastern Black people.
Southerners.
Okay, like the Southerners.
And yet the propaganda is also there. A lot of people come up with, whenever anything is happening, they target, they say, these are the people created this.
Now you have a story here. The sheikh went to the forest
and that's one thing
to
I'd
meet
like
those
us to-
bandits that are doing.
Zamfara State
Zamfara
Governor,
State.
Matawale has actually been doing a lot to
But I want to ask you, Mr. Patrick,
sort
why
out
can't they
the issue of
arrest them?
banditry.
Since they know where they are. Why can't they lay an ambush and arrest these people?
Good question.
round them up.
Why can't they round them up?
Good question. If it's not being done, it's either there is no capacity and a political will to do it, and it is also a crass failure in. So I always say, when people say leaders, I'm not sure it is leadership. Under your nose for things like this to continue to happen, or people now want to hide under a cloak and say, well, we are reading the body language of a particular individual, and so people will just now then go out there now. I concede that ethnic profiling should not be part of what we should be looking at.
No.
However, for people who have really been affected, and have seen the coloration of the kind of people that are involved in this, there is no doubt that criminal elements, perhaps criminal elements that have been allowed to infiltrate because of the policy of government, Because we hear that some people have said that they've been expelled from Guinea, they've been expelled from Ghana, and Nigeria is a ready heaven for them to come into. And we begin to also see the thought of government when they now then say we're going to build a railway from here to Niger Republic, and we ask questions. I say, well, it's strategic, African strategic. And people are now saying, absolutely, there's absolutely no problem in going that route. But don't you think we should deal with laying rails in other parts of the country that are not laid down? And then what you hear is that there is a plan out there. Why is the plan for the rail that we are putting up between here and Niger Republic not be on a long term? Why the hurry? So I state that. I also say we ought, as responsible citizens, to be very careful of what we see in the social media. I mean, there are so many things
And that what we claim it is.
that are doctored in the social media, and it's the reason why I said we all must get together. It's not now that we now begin to now do a profiling and be saying a particular tribe. The Fulanis, the Hausas, the Kanuris have always existed with us for centuries without any problems. And then suddenly in 2000 and by 2015, I think, 2005, suddenly the whole thing now and the coloration changed. I have not seen situation where the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has gotten up and directly, maybe indirectly, covering it, indirectly saying some of the inciting statements that has come from Yeti Allah is not acceptable. I have not heard or seen that done. Now you say Gumi is going into the forest in Zamfara. The governor of Katsina State did likewise. Situations where they virtually know where these people are. They go back to them. They hold them to ransom. In fact, that is a way of saying our security forces, our policing, is become very ineffectual. That they can no more handle it. I believe in the carrot and stick approach. But what I begin to see with all these cleavages all going on, people go into the forest to go and meet these bandits. And when they get
They negotiate with them.
to the bandits, they don't talk about releasing Chibok girls or releasing Leah Sharibu.
They're talking about them repenting.
They come back,
And tell us 50.
and then at the end of the day, a lot of money that we should be using for real developmental purposes are just going under the table.
Let me read a little bit of what happened when Sheikh Gumi visited the Zamfara bandits yesterday. Now, Sheikh Gumi is an Islamic scholar. He's very renowned and popular, especially in the north. And on Tuesday, he visited some bandits in the forest of Shinkafi and Gumi local government areas of Zamfara state. It was gathered that Gumi's visit to the camps was to spread the message of Islam and peace to the Fulani headsmen and rid the country of kidnappings and banditry. Gumi and his entourage were said to have first gone to the forest of Tubali and Makai in Shinkafi local government area, which were under the control of armed headsmen. Now, armed Fulani headsmen they wrote, but I choose to call it headsmen. At the first settlement in Tubali forest, Gumi was said to have met with about 150 armed Fulanis who expressed their grievances and why it would be difficult for them to surrender their arms. The chairman of Shinkafi Council reportedly said before the peace agreement with the bandits there were frequent and rampant cases of kidnappings on Shinkafi-Gusau Road, while instances of frequent attacks with heavy casualties were rampant, adding that presently the council had spent 7 months without a single attack. Now, this is Zamfara. The bandit commander identified simply by saying Bello he was called Bello, simply said, let the killings of our loved ones by security agents without due process of the law stop, as well as cattle rustling that denied most of us legitimate means of livelihood. At Bakai Forest, Gumi and his entourage met with about 600 bandits with automatic rifles. 600 bandits with automatic rifles.
You should know there is a
Their
problem now.
top commander, Kachali Chuji, welcomed the sheikh. Like Tubali, the bandits in Makai expressed frustration at the government's attitude towards them. Gumi said, let there be peace. You all have a legitimate concern and grievance, and I believe that since the Niger Delta armed militants were integrated by the federal government and are even in the business of pipeline protection, the federal government should immediately look into how something like that will be done to the Fulani to provide them with a reasonable means of livelihood, including jobs, working capital, entrepreneurship training, building clinic, and schooling.
Tomisi, I listened to what you have read. Like the wisdom of the ancients say, I will pretend as if I didn't understand. I will also pretend. I better pretend as if I don't understand,
Okay.
because that's the only way to keep my sanity here. And, from what we are beginning to see, we see situations where Nigeria is not being governed.
How do you mean?
Nigeria is now gone out to different sets of people with different agenda, and the center seems, it appears to me, not holding. Sheikh Gumi has gone out there. Is government aware that he's gone out there and he said what he has said? And if he has said what he has said, quite a lot of things, I must confess, to some people it will make sense. Quite a lot of things out there are highly insightful. Highly insightful, and people are hearing. I am not sure. I thought by about now, hopefully, by the time I leave the set here, presidency will have reacted to
This visit.
to this visit, vis-a-vis what is going on in some other parts of the country. And if IPOB is exercised and being taken as a terrorist organizations, the people, the ones that we know, and we know the elites and governments know where they are not terrorist organizations. The hoodlums that have been ravaging the land are not terrorist organizations. Where you have
So
this kind of double
homegrown.
standards, then you are calling for 1,001 Igbos, 1,001 Kalu, IPOB,
Nnamdi Kalu.
Nnamdi Kalu, and then the other one that was in the middle belt. Is it possible for any ruler, I didn't say leader now, is it possible for any set of rulers to sit back, go to bed on a daily basis with the country going the way it is, and then you now then say, we don't have a problem, the intelligentsia have spoken. I know a couple of past presidents have spoken. People in the north, people in the south, people in the middle and center have spoken, and it just seems, in a way of speaking, that government has its views on something else. Meet every Wednesday and be talking about how they are going to be awarding one contract to another contract when the revenue base is shrinking, when situations are staring all of us in the face, and we just said we have a presidency and we have a national assembly that we can all run to, and all what we hear from them is to be talking about NIN, SIM, alignment,
Mr. Fatuke, it's
increasing the COVID exposure, that the numbers are going, you begin to now wonder. You
Mr.
begin to now
Patrick.
wonder what is the agenda of governance, and that's why I said governance seems to be absent. Is it they don't have the knowledge to do it? Is it being done deliberately, callously, in a macabre fashion, or is it that really? And I shudder to say this. Is it that all what you are saying, all what Tessie is saying, all what many other people are saying, maybe some people are just not seeing or they don't understand it. That is the impression I get.
We're still talking insecurity this morning, and brings to mind the issue of distrust between. I don't get why. Yesterday in the papers, there was a story talking about how the presidency had asked the IGP to, hand over. Moving away from there was another one where they were talking about, I think it was the Northern Elders, asking the Fulani headsmen to move out of the south and go back to the north. 3 days ago, there was this story of everyone, recommendations from Northern Elders saying, you know what? And this one coming from the most unusual of them all, Governor Umaru Ganduje of Kano State, saying, you know what? Move your cows. There is no reason. He said plainly, the way to put an end to all of this movement is to say permanently that let those who are in the north graze in the north. Open grazing. He said put an end to open grazing. He recommended that. Like you said, there's been no response. Nobody's jumping on it to say this is the right thing. Now, Northern Elders said yesterday, you know what? Let all of the Fulani and the headsmen who are from Northerners in the south move back to the north. That was the recommendation yesterday. Yet today, we're having Afenifere is talking, Middle Belt is talking, Pandem is talking.
It's precisely why I said.
How is disunity contributing to insecurity in our country?
I am saying
the
that
leaders
is why
that we are looking up to these leaders. They are now asking us to seek AK-47 rifle licensing.
The
governors seeks
particular
AK-47 rifle
governor.
licensing for Nigerians.
Gets back to
Do you know what they are seeing that we are not seeing?
we are getting back to the roots of the problem.
That is what I'm saying.
Number one,
The roots.
there is no governance. There appears to be no capacity to now try and pull us together. Yes, we have always been different ethnic nationalities. There's no doubt about that. Right from the colonial amalgamation and what have you. That, but it's been managed. And people have also said that even if we are going to go our separate ways, we want to go confederal, we can sit around the table. The National Conference tried to talk about a couple of maybe low-hanging fruit that needed us to do. The paper is sitting down somewhere. Ask, where are these guns coming from? Who is supplying these guns? At what point in time are we talking about AK-47 to be guarding cattle? Who signed that on? That's number one. Then number two, to situate it properly. This is not the first time Governor Ganduje is making this recommendation. He made that recommendation some time back and said, I have enough land in Kano.
Come and graze.
Let's come, and I can provide that for you.
Ranches.
It was ignored. He also made a statement, which we must not gloss over, and he spoke to the federal government of Nigeria that this is your policy of asking people, Fulani, to come from different areas of the savannah to come to Nigeria is causing a lot of problems.
Let everybody stay in their country.
Now, when you now then get a mom, will you now then blame people now saying that this conspiracy is coming from quarters that we do not expect to come from? One. Two, when we now begin to say, okay, let's try and see how we can find a way to defend ourselves. For whether you call it de facto or de jure, the presidency suddenly found its voice and just say, no, you cannot make this pronouncement. You remember what happened to Akeredolu, which is still on, when some group of people now got together and said they were going to form the Amotekun thing. Oh, that was we cannot do this. It's like you are asking that we should lay ourselves bare and we should just
nothing.
continue to kill.
And do nothing.
I am happy that Ganduje, at least, is made this statement. Ganduje is not necessarily my cup of tea. There are quite a number of things that I know happen, but he's made this pronouncement, and we should be able to latch onto it. And a warning. Ignorance, deaf and dumb on the part of the people that rule us. Tessie is talking about our leaders. Well, I'm talking about people who are ruling us because they are ruling us.
They're ruling us, yeah.
People who are feeding facts, doing virtually nothing. I do not see the value add of people who have concentrated themselves, maybe about some 20%, taking salaries, pensions, allowances from the state, and contributing little or nothing to ensuring that the mistrust that is going on around us is taproot. The note of warning that I'm sending is that when the sword of Damocles begin to swagger around, they must not think that they can run out of this country. They must not think that their children are outside this country. They must not think that they are going to jump on the plane and then go out there. Having said that, we must hold our destinies in our hand.
Yeah.
I'm dark skin. Tessie is light skin. Maybe I prefer to look light skin. Maybe she prefer to look chocolate like me. We can get together, talk about quite a number of things, to agree to disagree, without necessarily decimating one another in any way, and knowing fully well there's a time for turn by turn for everybody. What Sheikh has said is quite incisive. In other words, because Yaradua provided amnesty, so they must now also get amnesty. The ranching business is a private business. We've had it comes under a Greek. And nobody is being given money. If you want, it's a private business. You can go
Just
out
the
there
way you
and
sell rice and you sell.
go and do it. But
Let me say thank you to you, Mr. Fatuke.
To now begin to want to extract the little that we have and now be using that to protect certain people will give you a bit of a leeway today, but will not win the battle tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fatuke, for joining us on the Bumper Breakfast today. We do appreciate your time.
But before you go, let me quickly say something. I want to say it. Let me say it. You see, we are copycats in this part of the world. There are some foreign things we are copying. Why can't we copy the right thing? You can go to abroad and see cows moving on the road. Why will you say that? Why can't we copy that style as well?
We're not in the Stone Age.
Why?
Not only is it that we are not in the Stone Age, Ghana is banned it. Little Ghana there is doing it. Big brother Nigeria is not doing it because of corruption.
And I remember that the issue
we
of
are being selfish.
It's selfish.
And because we are being wicked.
Wicked.
The wicked are ruling. Tessie, Tomisi, myself inclusive, I'm ready to join. And the youth of Nigeria, please, let's stop the agonization. Let's begin to organize effectively. Don't allow them to break us in. We have the number. We can, was it Bob Marley that said, let's drive these bald heads out of our town. And we're going to have a clean country.
2023 is what you're talking about, am I correct?
Yes, and that journey also started last year.
Okay.
It's not too late. We can start now.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We'll take a break now. When we leave this particular segment, we're moving to community report as we do on Thursdays. And today, we're focusing on power. Vandalization has become one of the biggest challenges with our infrastructure in Nigeria. As they're fixing, people are vandalizing. But do you know the vandalization is also harmful to you as a person? It hampers your safety as a human being. We'll take that up after this break.